Hello and welcome. We're from Cohen Davis Solicitors, and in this explainer, we're going to talk about cyberbullying. If you're being harassed online, we're going to walk you through the legal steps you can actually take to stop it and get your life back. If you're dealing with online harassment right now, this probably sounds all too familiar. That feeling of hopelessness, like you're completely on your own, it can be overwhelming. But it is so important that you know there is a way forward, and the law can be on your side. To really show you how this works in practice, let's look at a real-life case from one of our clients. We're going to call him Peter. Now, for his privacy, we have changed his name and a few other details, but his story is very real. So for Peter, this nightmare started because someone from his past decided to dig up an old business dispute from a decade and a half ago. This wasn't about getting closure. No, this was purely about causing him pain. It all began with nasty comments and articles popping up online, all designed to wreck his reputation and his peace of mind. And this wasn't just a one-off comment. Look at how it escalated. It was a calculated, relentless campaign. First, those vindictive articles. Then, the harasser actually created fake social media profiles to impersonate Peter. From there, they started contacting his friends and colleagues online. And finally, they crossed a huge line, directly contacting his family, even his wife. This was an attempt to completely destroy his life. As you can imagine, as these attacks got worse and worse, Peter felt totally powerless. He tried reaching out to the platforms, Facebook, Yell, but he got absolutely nowhere. And that frustration brought him to a question that so many victims have to face. And this is the crossroads. This is that moment every victim of online harassment gets to. It's the point where you decide to stop just enduring the abuse and start fighting back. Understanding what you can do, well, that's the very first step to taking back control. So what do we actually mean by harassment in legal terms? Well, under UK law, it's defined as a course of conduct, which just means it has to happen at least twice, and it has to cause alarm or distress. But here's the crucial part. It's both a criminal offense and a civil wrongdoing. And that's huge because it gives you two completely different toolkits to seek justice. Okay, so let's put these two paths side by side. We'll compare them head to head so you can really see how they're different and what each one might have looked like for someone in Peter's shoes. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is to ask, who's in the driver's seat? With a criminal action, it's the state. We're talking the police and the Crown Prosecution Service. But with a civil action, it's you. You're the one, along with your lawyers, who's in control. And this table just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. Look, with a criminal case, you have very little control. The police could decide to drop the case tomorrow. Sure, it's free, but it can be incredibly slow. And the standard of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a really high bar. On the flip side, a civil action gives you all the control. Yes, it involves legal fees, but it can be much faster, and it can tackle other things like defamation. And the standard of proof is lower. It's on the balance of probabilities, which basically just means it's more likely than not that it happened. So for someone like Peter, who was just being ignored by the police and was under this constant multi-pronged attack, the civil route was, frankly, a much more powerful solution. Why? Because you're in control, that lower burden of proof makes it easier to win, and you can get an emergency injunction to stop the harassment in its tracks. And sometimes, just the fact that the harasser has to pay to defend themselves can be enough to make them stop. All right, let's get really practical here. If this is happening to you right now, these are the very first things you need to do. This is your immediate action plan. Think of these 3 steps as your foundation for fighting back. Number 1, get specialist legal advice. Talk to an expert before you do anything else. 2, preserve all the evidence. I mean, everything. Screenshot the posts, the messages, the fake profiles. Do not delete a single thing. And 3, secure your accounts. It's okay to temporarily deactivate your social media. It cuts off their access and, just as importantly, it gives you some space to breathe. For Peter, this part was absolutely critical. Every single screenshot, every link, every horrible message, each one became a brick in the wall of evidence we were building. That evidence became the absolute bedrock of our strategy to protect him. So, with a mountain of evidence in hand and the right legal path chosen, what did the solution actually look like for Peter? How did his nightmare finally come to an end? The answer was an emergency injunction. This is one of the most powerful tools we have in civil law. It's a court order that forces the harasser to stop everything, immediately. They have to stop all contact, take down all the abusive content, or face very serious legal trouble. It's a legal full stop. And really, when you boil it all down, this is the main takeaway. Being proactive, getting expert help as early as you can, that's what turns a victim into a survivor. It's how we hold perpetrators accountable and send a very clear message that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated. You do not have to just sit there and suffer in silence. You don't have to feel hopeless. The law has powerful, effective tools designed to protect you, to stop the abuse, and to give you back your peace of mind. The path forward is there. You just have to be willing to take that first step. If you are a victim of harassment, please know that time can be incredibly important. Don't wait for things to get even worse. Contact us today for some confidential advice, and let's talk about how we can help you take back control.